everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fanatic. I am your host, Jennifer Kairis, and today we have a great show for you. We have the one, the only, the great cosplay photographer, Benny Leigh. Benny, say hello.
How's it going, everyone?
Good, good. All right, Benny, we're just going to jump right into these questions here. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Well, let's see. I've been cosplay photography for probably 5 years now, around 2008. It's funny because I started cosplaying and doing the photo shoots at the same time, on the same day. But I decided to stay behind the camera instead. So I've been doing that since then, and people seem to like it. And kind of one thing led to another, and I started shooting a lot of people I never dreamt of. And I thought that was really cool, and here I am, 5 years later.
Okay, and where are you from? The area you're
Originally,
living in now?
I live in Atlanta, Georgia, which is kind of cool because there are a lot of the cosplay veterans here, which I never heard of until I started meeting them, and I didn't know that it was such a huge trend in Atlanta, as well as LA as well.
Okay, and so how long, besides cosplay photography, how long have you been a photographer total?
That's actually a really interesting question because I never really photographed until I started doing this in my life.
Oh,
Yeah, I just kind of like bought a camera one day, and my friend was a cosplayer, and she got me into it. Her name is Julie, and she's like, "Hey, why don't you be a part of our cosplay group and do a photo shoot for us at the same time?" And I said, "Yeah, why not? What the heck?" So I started doing that, and it's like I said, I did my first cosplay, and I did my first cosplay photo shoot at the same day, but I decided I like staying behind the camera instead. So I've been doing that since then, and people seem to love it.
okay. So, how did that work? If you were cosplaying and doing the photo shoot at the same time, were you setting your camera on timer and like running to the shot?
Tripod, tripod.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was really tricky. I wouldn't recommend anyone to do it, but it's definitely cool. Yeah, quite the experience. Yeah.
mhm. Okay, so I take it you didn't go to any kind of like school for photography, or during school, whenever you went, did you ever take like photography class or something, or you just kind of picked up a camera and was like, I think I can do this?
That's also a good question. Well, I never went to any school or classes or lessons for photography. Well, actually, I probably took one class back in college, just to see what it's about.
Mhm.
But I think I went to school for design, to be more specifically, is industrial design or product design, which it goes hand in hand with photography because I learned to like see things differently with my eyes, or train under a bunch of related softwares like Photoshop and such. So with those skills under my belt, right, it really goes hand in hand with photography.
Mhm. Okay, and how would you describe, since you've been doing it for about 5 years, you said, how would you describe your style of photography?
Um, well, I never try to look at my style, but I can tell you what people have said about it. People
Okay.
generally said that, oh, you have a strong use of contrast and colors,
Mhm.
and you have great composition, or you have the eye for it. I don't know what that
Mhm.
means, but so I would say my strong suit would be my composition, which I can only say is all thanks to my degree, my design degree. So.
Yeah, very cool. All right. And what kind of, what type or how many different cameras do you shoot with?
Well, like most people, I started with like a really basic DSLR.
Mhm.
It was like a Nikon, which I have no problem with Canon, by the way. They go hand in hand. I love both of them. You're comparing apples to orange here. I just like
Yeah.
Nikon because the way it feels in my hands. That's all. So I started with like a really basic, like a D60 or something. I generally don't go use two cameras at the same time. There's no really need for it, and there's like a budget constraint. I'd rather invest more into my lighting equipment instead. Then I'm not really a big fan of like upgrading to a really expensive camera unless it's absolutely necessary.
Mhm.
If I don't feel like I can utilize it to the full potential, I wouldn't do it. So I'm currently at my third DSLR, which is a D800, which I bought probably last year, and I'm
Mhm.
loving it. And I don't see myself changing to a different camera anytime soon. From yeah.
Very cool. So how many cosplay shoots do you average a year?
Okay. Average a year. Well, that's also an interesting one because every year I noticed that I start doing less and less photo shoots, which isn't a bad thing because I start spending more and more time on each photo shoot as well. The first year probably did like maybe close to 20. First to second year probably, and then started on third year I started doing like 10, 5, and I think this past year I probably did like 5.
And why do you think you're doing less? Is it just because you're taking your time with each one, or you're just kind of picking and choosing what you want now?
Both. When you hit a certain point, you kind of have to like be a little bit selective and picky of what you want to shoot.
Mhm.
And you can't just like shoot everyone as much as I would love to. As far as like the photo shoots wise, I definitely have spent a lot of time. Like for example, the Scooby Doo shoot that you saw. I'm not sure
Mhm.
if it's posting it somewhere around here, but I definitely spent about a few months behind it. We started had this idea. I don't know who took the idea and ran with it, but I was like, hey, that's really cool. And we have the whole gang and the whole group. So I actually spent like months tracking down the person with Mystery Machine, and then I actually spent probably months tracking down like a real Great Dane for Scooby Doo. And
Aw.
yeah, and in fact, I've joined a Great Dane club. I've learned so much about Great Danes. I thought I would. The type of color. And by the way, you never call them a brown Great Dane. They'll be really offended or something. The
Wow.
correct term is fawn.
Oh.
Yeah, and I have to like look for a certain type of ears because I was not aware that Great Danes ears they're not naturally they don't stand up that way. They have to be clipped, and usually only show dogs have that.
Yeah.
Etc. So, but in the end, though, it was really cool because I found one. She was 9 hours away, but it was a show dog, Great Dane, and it's the right sex and age, and it's
Mhm.
trained, so it's perfect.
That's great. So you got all the cosplayers together, you found your mystery machine, you found your dog.
Hmm.
How many hours do you say like when you do a single photo shoot, like how long is your day usually? Is it like an 8 hour day, 2 hours? Like how long do you usually like to shoot?
The actual shooting time, I wouldn't say it went over more than 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, but it probably took about a whole day. I got there since the morning, well, around noon-ish, and I had to
Mhm.
like get the people together. And you might have there's one image of this Scooby-Doo shoot where there's like a zombie in the back. We did not anticipate that. He was not planned at all. He just kind of showed up at this event, this zombie day event, and which I just kind of like ran over him like, hey, this would be cool because we're doing this for Halloween and we need a phantom slash zombie. You would be perfect for this, and I kind of convinced him to agree to this.
Well, that
um,
worked out. That sounds awesome. Like he just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was hoping we would get some sort of zombies because it was a zombie day event um, down by South Georgia, and we got one at least.
Very awesome. And who are the cosplayers in that particular photo shoot?
Okay, we have Fred. His name is Jerry. I think he's some sort of like seasonal cosplayer. I don't think he does like full time compared to the others. And then we have Katie George. I think she goes by Katie's Cosplay on Facebook. She is our Daphne. And then obviously we have Kairis, or AKA K, who's our Scooby Doo, and
Oh.
the owner is April. She's from
Mhm.
Virginia. And then we have Shaggy, Cliff, who's Shaggy. He's also Katie's boyfriend, so
Oh,
she kind of
that
got
worked
him
out.
into it. And yeah, but he's a lawyer in real life, which is kind of funny.
Wow.
Shaggy's a lawyer. Anyways, we have, let's see, Velma, which is Ricky, aka Riddle's Messy Closet,
Yep.
Wardrobe, sorry, Wardrobe, on Facebook. You can find her over there. And then we were gonna have Monica as our Scooby Doo, our different version of Scooby Doo, but she couldn't make it that day. So not to mention we had a real Scooby Doo, a real Great Dane. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And by Monica, you mean Monica Leigh.
yes, Monica Leigh. There's an image somewhere where I took of them. It was like a candid shot of all of them by the Dragon Con SunTrust Building Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
She was gonna make it, and we were gonna have some funny, silly shots with her. But she had some work to do that day. She was preparing for BlizzCon.
Oh.
Yeah, and she was making for a costume for a demon hunter.
Yes, I actually follow her on Facebook, and yeah, I saw it, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be shooting that soon.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have, if you could pick one, do you have a favorite cosplayer that you would like to shoot with? That you would like, it's kind of like your go-to person, being like, oh yeah, don't worry, girl or guy, I got you. Like I'll always photo shoot you. Do you have a favorite?
Oh, that's kind of a trick question. I can't say I have a favorite. I do. I do notice that I shoot with a lot of them constantly. A few of them constantly, like Yaya, Monica, Ricky.
Mhm.
Well, one reason being that they're local, and second of all, I don't have to worry about a lot of things with the costumes, because I know they'll take care of that their end, and all I have to do is just worry about the shots. So with them, I usually just agree with it if they want to shoot. But I'm definitely open to shooting different people, anyone. I do have to be a little bit of selective, and picky sometimes because due to my time constraint nowadays, I have a different day job, you know, so I have to be a little picky.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you. So besides photography, what else do you do? Are you going ahead and trying to pursue your major in design and stuff?
Yes, that is actually my daytime job.
Hmm.
Yeah, photography was something that started when I was in college as a hobby.
Hmm.
It sort of got a little serious, and people seemed to like it, and it just kind of took off from there. One thing led to another. I started shooting this person, and then next thing I know, I started shooting like people I never thought I would, dream of shooting, like Yaya, Ricky, or Monica.
Yeah, you tend to shoot pretty big names in the cosplay industry. So tell us what it's like to shoot with Yaya Han. I mean, she's a huge name in the industry. So tell us a little bit about like shooting with her.
She's really nice. I'm not sure what people say about her, but she's
Yeah.
really nice in person. She's really kind. She's always trying to like be helpful about it. She's very considerate about my shots. And I try to do the same with her. So whenever we shoot, I would try to like show her what how the shots are coming out, and she will like try to perfect it on her end in terms of like composition or poses, or if she thinks that, oh hey, this shot I feel like we could do this and that, and she'll give me some suggestions, and we'll work from there. And she's really nice to work with. As I don't know, I mean, shooting a famous cosplayer, I mean, she's a good friend of mine, so for me she's like, it's really
Oh,
comfortable shooting
okay.
with her.
I
I,
see.
I don't see her like, oh, I'm shooting with a famous cosplayer, but I'm in fact like shooting with a friend I'm comfortable with.
Well, yeah. I mean, even famous people have friends, right? Hopefully, anyway.
Right.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still treat my friends the same.
well, that's really awesome. That's cool that you guys are friends, and I mean, you help each other out. So that's great. So getting back to a little bit about photography, what would you consider your favorite photography accessory besides your camera? Like, what would be your favorite accessory you always use?
My flash, I
Your
would
flash.
say, yeah, my studio flash or my strobes.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure that most photographers are going to say the same.
Oh yeah.
We're lighting people. Is this what Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well then that brings me to my next question. What would you deem to be like your lighting requirements for work? Are you more of a studio with lights guy, or do you like to go out into the natural light and try to shoot in the golden hour, as they say?
Now I can tell you I like to shoot on location, so more like the outdoor location or slash on location. I
Hmm.
used to shoot a lot at studio when I first got into it. I was like, oh my god, it's a control lighting setting.
Yeah.
What else could you ask for? You don't have to worry about like the light dimming or losing them, or the wind factor and temperature. So but then it got a little boring because there's only so much you can do in terms of the background, and ambient noise, lighting and stuff,
Hmm.
and those can play into can be really can be a big factor in the photo shoot in terms of dramatic lighting. So like not to mention that having as much real elements as possible in the shoot actually really adds a lot of value into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't really put I don't have a studio big enough for a mystery machine, or for a dog to run around.
Yeah.
And not to mention, I can't really decorate my studio to look like it's a forest path, or a
Yeah.
graveyard.
I was actually going
So,
to ask you about that. So, did you, for that photo shoot for the entire gang there, was that shot at night? So, did you have to bring like camera equipment out or lighting, I should say, out and try to work with the elements? Or did you do like more of a trick photography where it was daytime, but in post you would edit it to be dark? Which one did you do?
um, I don't like to manipulate the lighting too much. I can improve or enhance it. So yes, it was shot around golden hour, and the whole time was really hectic because I got there around noon, and I spent hours trying to like scout for locations because I never been there before, and I trusted the host to kind of give me a tour around the area. It was like South Georgia, and he took me a ride in his car, and we went around the building, and he was like, "Hey, this is where we shot the season 3 of Walking Dead, and this is where they're filming stuff,"
Awesome.
And we went around, and we almost ran into a little trouble because the glass warehouse where they shot the season 3 of Walking Dead, I think was it episode 7 where it had this like epic zombie scene or something. So we went over there, and we saw like a security guard, and we didn't know what was going on. Apparently they were filming some Hollywood set or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool. I wasn't sure what movie it was, but I had to keep like pushing people because because every time before I do a shoot, I did a lot of planning on terms of like what kind of shots I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would like jot it down and put the pictures on my phone and write down a list of it, and then I was just like, okay, so we're doing 2 shots. These are the 2 shots we need to get from this location and that the next location. So I had to, we start shooting around like maybe 3 plus, and so what happened was we only had about an hour and a half to shoot at the Hollywood set because I negotiated with the manager, and we had to like fight for the lighting because we were losing light really fast, and went to the graveyard. We took a few shots, and I know the main shots that we needed to do is around a golden hour.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks around this time of the year because the sun sets really early around 6 versus like 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the time change, it was like it's like dark out. Normally there's like bright sunshine coming into my room.
Yes, and that was terrible. So I had to like keep rushing them. I was like, "Hey guys, we really need to go right now." We had to like get this shot right. In the end, though, we probably lost more light than I anticipated, but it was all right. And I got some external battery packs because I brought some studio flash, my boomstick. I did have to like enhance it a little bit in the Photoshop, but it was shot around evening time.
Yeah. Well, whatever you did, it turned out great. So, light or not,
Thanks.
I mean, the shots came out amazing. So, good job on that. And just for our viewers who don't quite understand photography, can you just briefly explain like what golden hour is? Because I mean, I know because being a model and acting and stuff, like I've heard the term and know what it means. But for our people watching, can you just explain just very briefly what golden hour is?
Okay, well, this might not be like the perfect explanation or definition, but I'll give you what I know of. So, golden hour usually refers to the 1 hour before the sun rises and the 1 hour before it sets. So, that's when the sun is really low and when the angle gives the most dramatic lighting. And not to mention, due to its angle and color, it gives out this little like a shiny golden layer of light on top of everything, like model, landscape. So that makes everything really Hollywood like.
Yeah. So basically, when you take a photo, it makes you look really good without having to try too hard.
Yes, generally, general rule of thumb is you don't really shoot around noontime because that's when the sun is right on top of you. It gives you this like eye bag, drop shadows, unless you have like a shade, and it's really tricky to shoot around that time. So I generally like to shoot either early in the morning or early evening.
Yeah, yeah, that's when I usually do photo shoots as well.
Yeah, yep.
So how long would you, okay, so how long do you spend in post on a photo before it's actually like ready, before you're ready to post it on the site or give it to the client? Like how long does it take in post for you?
Even though I would say it varies from picture to picture, but generally the actual post-processing time would be anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. In some cases, it goes over to like 8 to 10 hours. Sorry, but it's rare. It's really rare. But because I really like, I really just spend an hour right away on a photograph. I would like come in different sessions. Like I would spend 20 minutes on a photograph, and I would take a break, come back with a different pair of like, okay, it's starting to look really different the next day because we come back the next day, it looks different. Things tend to look different for some reason. When you go out and take a break. I would say about an hour to 3 hours in general.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like a lot of my friends who are photographers will step away from it for just even an hour helps. They said sometimes to just reevaluate and look at the picture again to make sure they get like the best quality. So I've heard of people doing that before. If you weren't a photographer in design, what do you think you would be doing with your life? Like what maybe one of those dreams that you've had when you were younger? What else do you think you'd be doing right now?
Well, before photography, before design, I wanted to be a computer programmer.
Oh, so you want to
Some,
program our internet and video games?
something like that. And the other dream I had, the other dream occupation was inventor, which is very similar to designer right now. Because I was one of those kids who like to like play with Legos, but you never like look at the instruction booklet, manual. You just like look at the little pieces, like, okay, what can we do with this? Instead of looking at the picture, I just like do whatever I want. Put them together because I'm really good with my hands, and yeah.
Very cool. An inventor. I haven't actually heard anyone say that since like 5 years old or something. That's really awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty much a designer today.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess that could be the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the audience? Can you tell us what maybe the pros and cons of being a photographer are for maybe some of people who are interested?
See, being a photographer, can you be a little bit more specific about that?
Meaning like if someone were to pursue a career in photography, can you give like some of the pros, like these are awesome, but then here's the cons. Okay. Oh, you might want to just be careful of these type of thing.
Oh, photographer in general, huh?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this one thing. It seemed like a glamorous job to a lot of people because you get to shoot a lot of pretty models, and they're like, oh my god, that's my dream job. You get to do that all day long. But let's put it this way: you probably spend 10 to 20% of the actual time shooting, and you spend about another 20% promoting yourself if you're working for yourself, by yourself.
Yeah.
And you probably spend like 80% or 60% just actually post-processing it, planning it. There's a lot of others behind the scenes, behind all these things go on behind the camera that people don't see. It was really frustrating actually to plan the Scooby-Doo shoot. I was like on the verge of breaking down.
Oh.
I was like, because the Great Dane that I found, that was actually my third one. The first two bailed on me at the last minute.
Oh no.
Yeah. There's all these kind of little things. Sometimes you just have to deal with the clients, and they do bail on you. Not gonna lie, and things are constantly changing. You just kind of have to be on your feet. Be like, all right, well, take it lightly. Like, all right, what happened? So, what can I do to fix this? And I can tell you that models don't always show up.
Oh yes.
They're not losing anything. So, you are.
That's one of the things I do pride myself on. I try to make sure I'm always there unless I have a legitimate excuse, like it's not even an excuse, legitimate reason to not be there. Like, hey, even if my car broke down, I'll still be like, I'm getting a friend to drive me and blah, blah, blah. But I can tell you living in LA that actors and models are probably some of the flakiest people I've ever known. And I'll probably get crucified for saying that on the internet. But you know what? It's true. Like people have such a bad reputation of just not showing up or flaking at the last minute. So I definitely understand your pain. So basically you're saying always have a backup plan, always have maybe somebody.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, whether it be a makeup artist or hairstylist or backup model, what was that one rule I heard? When I used to go to photo shoots with other photographers, they would get 10 models, and I can tell you probably only 5 to 6 would show up, guarantee you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there it
Um,
is, guys. Not as glamorous as it seems. Just because you're
but
surrounded by beautiful people,
but I'll
doesn't
tell
mean
you
you
this
gotta.
though, the pro
Yeah.
is though is really rewarding. If you really truly love what you do and you're not doing it for the wrong reason, you know, if you really love photographing, storytelling, you know, it really.
Benny?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. There's some technical difficulty here.
it's okay.
It happens. So we're good.
Yes. So let's go back because I know being a cosplayer myself, you said that you did cosplay at one point in your life. So I'm very interested to hear that little snippet of your life. What cosplay did you do that was your first ever cosplay slash photo shoot?
Okay. Well, if anyone's trying to look for photographs of those, you most likely won't find much of that. I only did 2 shoots, and I think I was like the photographer for it for most of the shots. It was a Jin from Persona 3.
Uh-huh.
It was a video game. I was the villain, and I was also I forgot what was the other character called. He's from this anime called Nabari no O. I think it's about ninjas, and I got into it because my friend Julie, she needed a photographer and a friend to complete a group.
Uh-huh.
So that was the reason why.
Oh, cool. And so did you make the costumes? Did you just buy it, buy pieces?
No, Julie made that for me. I had to like meet up with her, and she could take my measurements and all.
Oh, well, that's
um,
really awesome. You got a great costume out of that.
yeah, I mean, I still have those costumes. You know, I'm not really that good with sewing machines, so
You're better with a camera, is what you're saying.
yeah, that's why I decided to stay behind the camera in the end.
Very cool. All right, and which leads me to my next question. What kind of other like geeky hobbies do you have? Do you have any? Like, are you a gamer? Would you be interested in doing more cosplay? What do you like to do there?
Yes, I'm a huge gamer. I'm pretty sure that most cosplay photographers would be, you know, because it would definitely help. It's like part of their profession, you know. You have to know what you're shooting, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. So what is your game right now? What are you playing currently?
I just finished The Last of Us, and it's really good.
Oh yeah, I know. I still need to play that. I'm like still back at Tomb Raider right now,
Oh,
but I'm very
okay.
busy.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
that
finished
far
that one
back.
too. It's great.
Do you play any online games?
Does Borderlands count?
Yeah, sure. If you play online with people, it counts.
Yeah, yeah. I still go back to it time to time. Borderlands II. It's such an addictive game. I can't help it. I finished the first one and immediately bought the second one the second day.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I never played it
I played
before.
them both and I was absolutely in love with it. In fact, it's like I want to cosplay one of the girls, but I'm not sure. Plus, too, like their costume is very tricky because of the different shading that they use. It's very comic book cell
Yes,
shading type.
cell
So
shaded. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely hard to accomplish, and I want to make sure. I am kind of a perfectionist, so it's like I have to make sure that I do it right. So I'm doing like all my research on it before I partake in that. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I've actually been trying to shoot a Borderlands shoot, a group shoot. I probably have 2 characters right now. I have Moxie and Exton.
Hmm.
I'm trying to get more people before I start shooting that.
Oh, you need to come to LA, and I'll be your Lilith.
Oh, great! You have one. Nice.
Do you
I
tend
did.
to attend lots of cons? Like, if you like, are you able to travel because you attend cons, and you like, can you get a press pass type of thing, or no, it doesn't work like that?
I can get a press pass, but I haven't traveled much in the past. I am planning more to the West Coast, potentially like Anime Expo or Comic Con, you know, or
Hmm.
Katsucon.
Yeah,
But I've
have you?
been going to a lot local cons so far, and
Okay.
I've been invited to a few cons. So I won't be sure until 2014 of what my schedule is.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, let me know if you're in LA. So
Yes, definitely. I'll look you up.
I'll go to Autocon. You can just point and shoot. I won't take up too much of your time. I'll just be like, here, I'll stand here. Click.
No, no. I mean, I'll do it right. I mean, no half measures.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's good. You're a professional. So,
Yeah, no.
yeah, what else do you like to do? Are you like into Star Wars? Or you just don't have time for any of that kind of stuff anymore?
Um, when you say into Star Wars, you mean like movies, gaming, or?
Movies, gaming. I mean, does it have to be Star Wars? Do you like Battlestar Galactica or
Oh well,
Walking
funny story.
Dead?
Yes, I love Walking Dead. But I don't know what kind of show would it be. I mean, it would just be people dressing in like distorted clothing
Yeah.
and some zombies. Maybe potentially. But I did get to shoot a pretty cool shoot recently. A live movie set for Star Trek Continues.
Oh.
It was with Yaya and Ricky. They got a rare opportunity. They were invited, and I was invited as the photographer to shoot there. It's a web series called Star Trek Continues, and they were still shooting there. They're trying to raise some funds right now for the Kickstarter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was the entire set built to spec of the original series of the USS Enterprise.
Wow.
So we probably drove 5 hours down to South Georgia, Kingsland, Georgia, where they have the entire movie set, and I got to meet the crew. It was really cool.
Wow. So that's
Yep.
what those pictures are on your Facebook page of them dressed
Yes,
track and all that.
yes, I posted a few pictures of that, and I'll probably get onto that very soon, and so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, that just almost concludes our Fan Fanatic show. Can you tell all of our viewers where we can follow you and stalk you on Facebook, Twitter? Just let us know any social media we can find you on.
Oh yes. So my Facebook page is Benny Leigh Photography, or you can just type in facebook.com/, Benny Leigh Photography, or and my I have a DeviantArt account. Facebook is mostly where I post all the behind the scenes and the most up to date photos. That's where I go to when I post a photo. And then secondly, I would post it on my DeviantArt, which is benny-lee.deviantart.com. I have a Twitter, which is not Benny Leigh though, surprisingly. It's Emanon Design. It's spelled EMANON design.com. Not .com. It's twitter.com. Emanon is no name spelled backwards.
Oh, clever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my Twitter, and you can definitely stalk me on my Facebook. I post there as much as I can.
Great. All right, everybody, you heard him. Go and stalk him on his Facebook page. He's got super mega cosplay stars that he shoots, so I'm sure he'll have lots of those. For those of you who are big fans of Yaya and Riddle's Messy Closet, Katie Cosplays, all that, I'm sure they're up there. So go definitely check him out. Benny, thank you so much for being on here today. We really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with us about your photography and a little bit of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Jennifer. And Chad.
All right, guys, that's it for us on Fan Fanatic today. We will see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. See you there. Good night.
See you. Good night.